Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending today's meeting. Just a friendly reminder to keep your cell phones on silent or vibrate. We will begin shortly. Thank you so much.
Just a reminder, this is a county facility and everyone must keep their mask on and wear it properly over your mouth and your nose, even when you come up to speak on the mic.
Go. Glenn, you ready? All right, the meeting will begin in 3, 2, 1.
I now call the meeting of the Code Enforcement Board to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the Hillsborough County Code Enforcement Board hearing. When addressing the board, please state your name, address, and speak clearly into the microphone. If you're planning to speak during this hearing, you must sign the speakers list located at the front door for the record. Presentations by the county, respondents, and opposition must be kept to a maximum of 10 minutes each. The board may recess at 12:30 and reconvene at 1:30 to conclude its business if needed. The basic process for this hearing is as follows. Your case will be announced. Ms. Rodriguez will conduct the oath of witness. Staff will present their evidence on your case, and then you will be allowed to rebut that evidence and explain what has occurred. I will close the hearing. The board will deliberate, make a motion, vote, and then I will announce a decision. All decisions are based on the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator, and the violator's history. The board may ask questions, allow other witness testimony if necessary. If the board issues an order for compliance, it's your responsibility to notify the code enforcement officer on or before the date ordered to demonstrate that the violations have been corrected. Depending on the order, the code enforcement staff may later have to conduct an inspection to see if you have complied. If the staff believes you have not complied, you will receive a notice in the mail. By law, you have 10 days to contest that notice. Otherwise, it will be considered correct and a lien may be filed against your property. If you have any questions, these rules are outlined by Hillsborough County Codes of Ordinances and Laws, Chapter 14, Article 2, Section 14. Any person who decides to appeal a decision of the Code Enforcement Board will need a record of the proceedings. The record is comprised of the testimony and evidence upon which an appeal is based. It is your responsibility to ensure that a verbatim record of the proceedings is made. By law, you have 30 days from the date of the order to appeal the board's decision to circuit court. And before we begin, please silence all electronic devices. Roll call, please.
Good morning. Bordenaro? Lorenzen?
Present.
Boland?
Present.
Boyd?
Here. Present. Oh,
Clayton?
sorry. Here.
Durazio?
Here.
Brazilla? Urbaniak?
Here.
Right? Thank you. You have a quorum.
Thank you. First order of business is approval of the previous minutes from August 27th and September 24th. Can I get a motion?
Urbaniak motion.
Thank you, Mr. Urbaniak. Second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Boland. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, Ms. Rodriguez, I think we're ready.
Will all county staff that will be giving testimony please stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. You may be seated. First case is on page 1 of your agenda, item 1, case number CE 21007128, Nation Star Mortgage LLC, doing business as Champion Mortgage Company. We have service. This is a continuance from a previous hearing. Do you have the case summary?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ma'am, raise your right hand. Do you swear you're an attorney? Please state your name and address for the record. Do you recognize that photo as the property? Thank you.
I'm sorry, I can't hear her.
Oh, that would help. Okay, is that better?
Yes, can you restate your name and address for the record?
Yes, Michelle Mason, 6400 Congress Avenue in Boca Raton, Florida. And I do recognize the property.
Thank you.
Go ahead,
Good
officer.
morning, board. This is Officer Hoffman with Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This case was continued from October 26th hearing because of the CDC moratorium on eviction and foreclosures. Just to refresh the board's recollection, the property is in foreclosure and is occupied. It's cited for failure to maintain a foreclosed property, allowing vagrants and unauthorized persons to occupy a dwelling without electric or water, accumulations of junk trash and debris, and overgrowth. On October 8th, I made contact with a representative of Hillsborough County Public Utilities who confirmed that there is no active account at this location for water and no service, and a lien has been filed by the county. On October 11th, I visited the property and attempted to make contact at the residence. I was unable to, but I did meet with the neighbor at 406 who confirmed that the property is still occupied by vagrants. On October 12th, I spoke with Mike Schultz of TICO, who confirmed that there has been no service at this location since July 24th of 2021. I visited the property yesterday, and there was an attempt to cut the backyard of the property. At least half of it has partially been cut, and the accumulation still remain. As far as the foreclosure case goes, there has been movement in it. On October 18th, there was a final judgment of foreclosure issued, and there's a public auction sale set for December 20th, 2021. And that's where we are right now.
Thank you, officer. Counselor, what would you like to tell us?
Well, I would first like to correct the record that this is not a continuation from the 26th. That's today. It actually was before the board on July 30th. There is a no trespassing sign that was posted by the heirs of the property. It is a death, which is where our owner now is. They have posted the no trespassing sign. It was not posted by the county or by the police department. So therefore, we could not enter the property. However, in the meantime, we have done mowing and lawn work on the front yard. We have done the curb cleanup. Apparently, there was some regrowth since we were out there in August, and we have our work order out fixing that as well. We have also repaired the roof in the last couple of weeks. So there is work that's being done as best as we can without being able to access the full property. As the agent said, we have a sale set for December 20th of this year. Once that completes, and if my client is a successful bidder, we can finish the rest of the repairs. At this point, we're doing the best we can within the confines of the law.
Okay, based on your testimony, you said that you're doing roof repair and you're cleaning up on the exterior. What is it that you can't do until that process?
We can't go into the backyard because the no trespassing sign is on the back fence. So we can't enter the backyard because of the no trespassing sign. The repair on the roof, I believe, is completed as of yesterday. And as I said, we've done all of the outer front yard work. The only thing that happened is there was some regrowth on a curb. There was some planting that had come back, and we're going to do some weed killer and get rid of that.
Okay. Board, any questions? Mr. Bolin?
Yeah, I didn't understand. They're making improvements to the front yard, but what was the reason for can't do it in the backyard again?
I'm sorry, I did not understand anything you just said.
Mr. Bolin would like you to restate why you can't make any cleanup or repairs in the backyard again.
Because there's a no trespassing sign that was posted by, we believe, the owners or the heirs of the owners. If it were posted by either code enforcement or by the sheriff, we could go in, but without that, we don't own the property yet and won't own the property until after the foreclosure sale on December 20th.
Okay, but you've made improvements to the front yard?
No, because the sign for the no trespassing is on the back fence.
Thank you.
Board, any other questions, or would somebody like to make a motion?
one other thing I wanted to point out is the last time we were here, there were actually two separate actions. The homeowners were being fined at, I believe it was $200 a day for the work that hadn't been completed. We had gotten a continuance on our part based on the foreclosure action.
Understand.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Urbaniak.
I move in case CE 21007128 that we allow a 90-day continuance in order for the foreclosure auction sale to occur and follow up on the property thereafter.
A motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Clayton. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Counselor, you have 90 days.
That's perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next case, please.
Board members, so we're continuing this for 90 days to the next available hearing,
Which has not been determined yet,
which
correct?
has not been determined, correct? So you will
We'll
be,
shoot for 90 days.
okay, we'll shoot for 90 days, and if not, we'll send you a notice of hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next case, please.
Next case is on page 2, item 3. Case number CE 1901983, Pine Key Tampa Bay LLC. This is a continuance from a previous hearing. Do you have the case summary?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
And we have some people here that are virtual. I need to be able to see them. Peggy Matthews, Cole Weaver, and Jonathan McHenry.
Yes, we're here.
Okay, and I don't see Cole Weaver.
Hi, guys.
Hi, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. I
Each
do.
of you, please state your name and address for the record. Mr. Weaver?
Cole Weaver, 1025 Apollo Beach Boulevard, number 1, in Apollo Beach, Florida, 33572.
Ms. Matthews?
Ms. Matthews, we cannot hear you. You might need to check your microphone settings. We still cannot hear you. Ms. Matthews, if you want to back out of the meeting and go back in, try that. That could work.
Mr. McHenry, go ahead.
Yes, Jonathan McHenry, 720 Sunset Cove, Madeira Beach, Florida, 33708.
Thank you. Ms. Matthews?
Ms. Matthews, if you can hear me, try going to the bottom of the program where the little microphone is. There should be a drop-down arrow. If you see the column that says microphone, you might need to check one of the settings there. Yes, but it's very low, so you might need to turn your audio up. So if you want to go to the settings button there should be an option to bring your level up all the way.
Is that any better? It's all the
Very
way.
low.
Else I can do?
In your settings tab, is there another method for you to speak in that drop-down menu? So when you go to the mute button, there's that little down arrow next to it. Click that and it should bring a pop-up menu. And in that, it should say settings.
Is that any better?
Yes.
Excellent. Yes. Excellent.
Oh, okay. Guess you get enough clicks, you're bound to get it right eventually.
State your name and address for the record.
1520 Big Sky Way, Tallahassee, Florida, 32317.
And your name?
Peggy Matthews.
Thank you.
Officer?
Do you recognize that photo as the property?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm Carmine Pisano with Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This is the continuation on the property identified as One Beer Can Island Way. Property is owned by Pine Key Tampa Bay LLC. When we last here was in the process of having land designation use with the county. The update was most recent on 10/21/21. The County Commission meeting agenda consisted of the adoption of future land use on several properties to include Pine Key Island. At the conclusion, I had to reach out to members of the comprehensive plan. My initial attempt was to reach to Tony Garcia, who was my source of information, but when I wasn't able to get a hold of him, I got a hold of Yannicka Mills, who is also with the same agency and working on this application process. She advised that the case was continued to 12/16/2021. And the issue they have is they don't have a land designation use to meet the activities that are occurring on the island. And it was, the request for the continuance was to have the applicant and the agency meet to create a new land use designation if necessary that would fit with the activities. And she had nothing more to report. I was later able to make contact with Tony Garcia. He is the director with the Comprehensive Plan Policy and Review. He further added that in the interim, the applicant also needed to develop the rezoning proposal, and the BOC wishes to have them heard together with the plan amendment. That's something that I had brought up previously. It was a suggestion. Now it's a request. He also further advised to accomplish this, the hearing would most probably not be scheduled until February or March. The county, when it comes to this type of issue of changing the comprehensive plan, it doesn't move very fast, and meetings are held quarterly. So we're probably looking at sometime until February or March until some decisions are made, and depending that's on the zoning hearing board master's date for the rezoning. So that's where we stand. I don't know if the owners have anything more to add to that, but I'm sure they will take the opportunity to do that. Thank you.
To the owners, tell the board.
Peggy Matthews, that summary is correct. We requested public, quasi-public, and they deemed it inconsistent that they said there's really no land use that fits the island. We find that unfortunate because of, it slows everything down. So, as Carmine mentioned, it's going to be a very, very long process.
Okay. Any
That's what
questions?
me and
We're
Jim-
trying, and we're obviously
Like
in
that?
compliance with everything we've asked.
I'm sorry, say again?
I said, but we're obviously trying, and we're in compliance with everything you asked. We're just running into a lot of hurdles here.
I understand. If we had frequent flyer miles, you guys would take the cake with our board. So
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right.
to the board, anyone have any questions?
I have a question. When is the next meeting as far as planning commission and things of that nature on the property? What's the next official meeting?
Ms. Carmine Pisano, the
I
meeting
can
would be.
answer that. We've got a meeting actually next week to start the discussion. Then it's going to be brought back to the BOCC December 16th just to see what kind of progress has been made. And after that, it's anybody's guess.
Anyone like to make a
I'm
motion?
prepared to offer a motion to continue it. Everybody seems to be working together here and no decisions have been made. I'll make a motion to move it to the next February meeting, which we don't have a date as of yet.
Okay, that's approximately 120 days
Uh,
from now.
I'll make a motion to continue it at least 120 days to the February hearing date.
Okay, we have a motion. Anybody like to
Second.
offer a second?
Gene, I think you did.
Horacio, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Continue for 120 days. Once the February date is announced, they'll get back in touch with you in regards to what that date is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case, please.
Call Jonathan McHenry.
We need to go back to page 1, item 2, case number CE 200-17729, Sophia Viesi and Arian Zanuni. This is a continuance from a previous hearing. Do you have the case summary?
Yes, ma'am.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Sophia Baizi.
Speak into the mic, please.
Sophia Baizi, 2118 Mary Sue Street, Largo, Florida, 33774.
Do you recognize that photo as the property?
Yes.
Thank you.
Go ahead, officer.
I'm Officer Watson with Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This address is 5625 Patterson Road, Riverview, Florida, 33578. It was initially inspected on 12/3 of 2020 with the 5 violations present, and currently they have 3 complied. They're down to 2 violations of accumulation throughout the property and inoperable vehicles. Currently, the sewage that was out at the time of the initial inspection has been covered up. There's no agricultural animals, and septic repairs do not have a permit on file as of 10/20/2021 with the Florida Health or Acela permitting.
Okay, ma'am, what would you like to tell the board?
I'm sorry.
Say again?
What would you like to tell the board?
Oh, so we're currently in the eviction process. We just received on Friday the final judgment for possession, and we just applied yesterday for a writ of possessions. So we cannot touch the items until we receive, they finalize everything. So it's in the finalizing stages of getting the tenants out and then clearing everything up and fixing all the issues.
And what's the timeline for those stages?
I would think in the next 30 days.
Within 30 days, you'll have them evicted and be able to make the repairs and upkeep on the property, or?
So we're actually planning on selling the property. So they're going to be evicted, get everything fixed, and then the property will be posted for sale.
Okay, but for the purpose of the board and the violations that are still outstanding in regards to inoperable vehicles and accumulations, you anticipate that to be complete sometime in the next 30 days?
Correct.
Okay. Excellent. Members of the board? Questions or motions?
Question. Has the eviction process been started?
I'm sorry?
Have you started the eviction process?
Yes, so we already received the final judgment granting us. So now they had 5 days to leave. So now it's just the writ of possession application that we're waiting on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm prepared to make a motion. Denise Boyd.
Ms. Boyd?
I move in the case of CE 2001-7729, that based on the evidence presented, I find that the property is in violation of Hillsborough County Codes of Ordinance as listed in the staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator, and the violator's history, I grant 45 days to come into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $250 per day be assessed.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Boland. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ma'am, you have 45 days to complete the process, or the fines will start at $250 a day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next case, please.
Next case is on page 2, item 4, case number CE 2000-3218, Taylor Road Properties, LLC. This is a continuance from a previous hearing. Do you have the case summary?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Officer Steen.
Counsel, please state your name and address for the record. No, keep your mask on, please.
Good morning. My name is Michael Jones. My address is 3134 North Boulevard, Tampa, Florida, 33603.
And your relationship?
I am the attorney for Taylor Road Properties, LLC.
Do you recognize that photo as the property?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Go ahead, officer.
Officer Steen, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. First inspected the property located at 9601 Taylor Road, Sefner, Florida, 33584 on August 26, 2021. At the time of the inspection, it was tenant occupied, not in foreclosure. This is a continuance. The issue is that there's this excessive dwelling on the property.
Okay, counselor, what would you like to tell the board?
Pardon me?
What would you like to tell the board?
Thank you. Your Honors, I would like to, first of all, apologize for the late filing of the petition. I intended to file it much sooner than I did. It was filed this past Friday. In early October, I experienced an unexpected medical issue that hindered my ability to function, particularly cognitively, for several weeks, and it put me behind on everything, including this petition. It was filed, as I said, this past Friday. This specific violation relates to a single parcel that is one of 8 contiguous parcels that comprise a 7.34 acre piece of property that has functioned as somewhat as an old-timey 1950s mobile home park since at least 1999. I have also had recent conversations with Officer Steen advising that there are additional violations coming as to contiguous parcels, not this specific parcel. There are tenants dwelling in these units. I don't believe any of these violations comprise a dangerous or hazardous condition. It's a relatively clean, peaceful, well-run park that needs to be brought to the 21st century. The petition that we filed comprehensively addresses both the violation that's before the board, as well as preemptively, anticipatorily, those violations that Officer Steen has recently noticed. The petition requests that the 8 portfolios be, and this is on the recommendation of the Planning Development Services Department. The petition requests that the 8 portfolios, which are again contiguous, we're really not sure why this got divided into 8 approximately 1 acre properties, but that it be consolidated. That was prior to my client acquiring the property, which was in January of 2020, that they be consolidated into a single property, and that the allowed density be increased to either an RSC9 or a mobile home overlay. Again, I think I've been to the property many times. I think that's consistent with the character and use of the neighborhood. It would actually be an improvement to Hillsborough County, and I respectfully request that the petition be allowed to run its course. Obviously, my client understands if it's granted, there'll be some improvements that will need to be made again, it's not a technical term, but for lack of a better term, to modernize the property, to bring it, as I said earlier, into the 21st century. He also understands that if it's not approved, then he's going to have to remove that dwelling, and there won't be any resistance on our part. So my request is that the petition be allowed to run its course.
Okay, is the excess dwelling at this point is tenant occupied?
It is occupied. Yes, sir. It's been occupied for at least, I believe, 6 months. There's a tenant in there.
And is it a single year lease, or when is the lease up for that tenant?
That I do not know, respectfully. I'm not sure if it's a month to month. I don't have that information. I apologize.
And then when do you anticipate this process being complete? What's the anticipated timeline moving forward?
Well, quite frankly, I went downtown to the property, to the basic various offices, and they're not occupied. Everybody's working from home. That doesn't mean they're not working, but I think it has slowed the process down. So I haven't had any feedback at this point that I can share with the board to kind of provide that information. I mean, I'm obviously for the process to be allowed to run its course, which right now it's out of our hands, it's in the county's hands. I'm happy to come back and re-inform the board frequently. I mean, as often as you want me back here to give you updates, to let you know what the progress is. And I'll do my part to push it. I just don't know how much control I have as an applicant over the process.
I understand. Well, I appreciate your willingness to help. Obviously, this has been going on since March of 2020. A couple other things have happened in the world since then, but looking forward to getting this off our docket. I'm sure you are as well.
Yes, sir.
Officer Steen, is there a life safety issue here?
No, sir.
Okay. Excellent. Any other questions from the board? Prepared to make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
All right, Ms. Clayton, please.
Excuse me. I move in case CE 200032218 that based on the evidence presented, I find the property is in violation of Hillsborough County Codes or ordinances as listed in staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant 120 days to come into compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $250 a day be assessed.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second from Urbaniak.
We have a second. Any discussion? Mr. Boland?
I don't know if this is time for that, but I'd be more inclined to grant this case a continuance to the January meeting.
20 days be December,
Pardon?
January. That was
February.
So
The continuance and not find them in violation at this time.
Because of the open end in regards to the timeline that they've already filed, so that's up to you.
I'll amend my motion to 90 days. Continue for 90 days.
Continuance for 90 days?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion for continuance for 90 days for Ms. Clayton. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Boland seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Counselors, we continue for 90 days. That January date is not on the hearing date on the docket yet, but once it comes around, they'll notify for you, and we'll see you again 22.
Thank you, Your Honors.
Thank you. Next case, please.
Next case is on page 3, item 5, case number CE 2000-3650, Ronnie L. King and Katrina L.M. King. This is a continuance from a previous hearing. Do you have the case write-up?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
Thank you. Sir, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I so affirm.
Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Ronnie L. King, address 10518 Goldwater Lane, Riverview, Florida.
Do you recognize that photo as the property?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Go ahead,
Officer
officer.
Steen, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. I first inspected the property located at 7819 North 50th Street, Tampa, Florida, 33617 on March 31st, 2020. At the time of the inspection, the property was vacant and not in foreclosure. Since that time, the demolition of the primary structure has been completed, and I was able to confirm the permit for that. However, the handrails violation remains. You see that those stairs going to that building in the background. There was a deck, sort of a feature there with stairs and railings, which has been torn off and replaced with this temporary stairs with no railings. And then the other violation is the fencing on the north side of the property is still in disrepair.
Okay, officer, just to confirm, the existing violations, what's left is the handrail because the previous handrail is still on the building and there's no handrail for the new temporary stairs?
The handrails that were previously there needed to be repaired, but now they have been removed completely, and there's this in place of the deck and stairs that were there with the railing that needed to be repaired. Now it has no rails.
Okay. So that's a life safety concern.
The board ordered temporary fencing to be installed around the property. That temporary fencing still is in place.
Okay. But there is a fence violation as well.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Okay. Mr. King, what would you like to tell the board?
I'm really, well, we have gone through with the demolition project. If I can get clarity on exactly what we're looking for, I'm more than willing to take care of it. You can see we put several thousands of dollars into removing an entire house. But I'm just trying to see exactly what are you looking for? I mean, we've done what's been asked as far as I know. If there's something in addition, we've moved an entire house out of the way. You know, railing, I can put railing up. That's not an issue. But fencing, I don't know what you're talking about with regard to the fencing. If I can get some help with that, I'll be more than willing to. If it's our fence, I mean, the only fence I know of that we even own is the one that we rented and put in the front of the property. So I'm not sure what's being referred to.
Officer, can you clarify for him what portion of the fence that's still in violation, or do we have a picture of that?
Yes, sir. There is a chain link fencing that runs along the north and south of the property. I've never been able to get on the property to see all the way to the back, so I don't know if there's a fence there, but the northern most fencing is dilapidated. It's covered with overgrowth, vines, and it's the top bars being pulled down. You can't really, that's what you're looking at. You can't really get a good, at one point before the structure was demolished, it was actually growing from the structure onto the fence and pulling it over, and that's where it is now. That's how it looks as of the 22nd.
This is new information. When I came before you originally, I was spoken to regarding the fence in the front of the property that was torn, that was messed up. We removed that entire fence. We removed the entire fence out of the way. That's the only fence that that was brought to my attention and we addressed that. We replaced that fence and have a temporary fence, and I believe at the second hearing, I was told that that part had been resolved, and now it looks like we're bringing in new information. So I believe that's probably my neighbor's fence. It's adjacent. It divides the two properties. It was there when I got there. I'm pretty sure that that's my neighbor's fence. I mean, if we're looking for stuff, I'm trying to get it resolved. But if we're just looking to keep digging and finding stuff, then we'll be back over and over again. I want to work with you and do what I need to do on my part, and I'm willing to do that. I think I've shown a willingness to do that, but if we're just trying to find other stuff to,
I understand your concern, Mr. King. I think, we've continued this for several meetings and haven't started any fines, and the fence issue is for the entire parcel. So I understand that you made some partial repairs. And if there is an issue with your neighbor, maybe that's something you can work out with your neighbor. I guess at this point, what I'd like is from you an understanding of when you think you might be able to make the upgrade or clean up and repair to the fence, obviously, and the putting up a handrail or some sort of handrail system on the temporary landing that you have on the building that was shown in the picture. How long do you think it'll take you to do those things?
well, I can get a handrail up in a couple of weeks. That's not an issue. I mean, I just go ahead and get a handrail and put it up. That's
So you're
not an
saying the
issue.
fence is an issue, so how long do you think that might take?
The fence, I have to get with my neighbor, Mr. Williams, and I believe that's his fence because it continues along the line of his property. So, I mean, I have to talk with him. Right now, my property is vacant, but I have to talk to Mr. Williams to see what's what on that.
Okay, and how long do you think you will need to do that? I guess is where I'm headed.
I won't see him for another 2 weeks. At that time, I can talk to him and see what we can do to get that resolved.
Okay.
This is Carmine Pisano. If I can interject here, if we're requesting to pull the fences at this time from this hearing, and if we do identify it as being that of Mr. King's property, then we can readdress it, but we don't want a ruling on that today.
Okay, perfect. So the only issue we have to deal with today is the R11.11.2 handrails. And Mr. King, you said a couple of weeks, you thought you could resolve that issue with ease?
Yeah. I mean, I got to go to work today, but I just need a weekend, a Saturday, run, grab a rail and put up there, take the one that's there down, we'll be fine.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you working through this process with us, and I'll open it up to the board for questions and a motion.
I have a question.
Mr. Ross.
I'm reading from the continuance, and I read that this property is going to get a permit to be demolished.
Yeah,
So-
well, I have that with me. We've already demolished the building that was in question. I have the pictures, from before, the work that we're in progress and everything. We've already done that.
Okay, so now we're not going to demolish.
The demolition's been completed. He just has no
Pardon
violation
me,
on the existing.
Officer Steen, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement.
Okay.
The permit was issued and the primary structure was demolished. The current issue that remains on the property is a permitting issue with the new construction, and Development Services has a case pending on that. And again, the issue with the fence was it was attached to the front fence. It was one continuous fence, and only the front portion of the fence was removed. And then the temp fence was ordered by the board because of the safety issue with the construction and the condition of the property.
The fence violation has been removed by staff. They're going to readdress what's existing out there and see if that's a case for a further date or with the neighbor. And then the only issue we have to deal with today are the handrails.
The only item we're really concerned with is the handrails,
Yes, ma'am.
and all the others are complied. Then I'm prepared to make a motion.
Fantastic, Mr. Rosio, please.
that part. I move in case number C20000365 that based on the evidence presented, I find that the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinance as listed in the staff's presentation as item R11.11.2. Further, based on the gravity of the violation and the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant a period of 3 weeks to come into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $150 a day to be imposed.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bolin. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. King, you have 21 days to complete the handrail process. After that, it's a $150 fine per day.
And that's to put the rail up on the, okay,
Yes, sir.
all right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Next case, please.
Turn to page 4 of your agenda, number 6, case number CE 21013106. The owner is Kyle Swanston and Mark D. Hamilton, not 19165 Garossi Road. We have service and we have a representative here for this case. Is he here or online?
He's here.
If you're here for this case, please come up now. Good morning. Please state your name and address for the record.
Luke LaRoe, 2240 Bel Air Road, Suite 190, Clearwater, Florida, 33764, and I'm counsel for the owners.
Thank you. Do you recognize the property in the photo?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Laura George, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. We're here for case CE 21013-106. This is a repeat violator from case CE 2101-2785. That case was heard on September 9th, 2021. The property address is 19165 Garossi Road. The violation is improper use of zone. The property owner has been advertising this property for commercial events and charging and requiring tickets to enter the property. Going through this is an advertisement on Eventbrite for the event that's going to take place. And it is showing, it's telling you what it costs for the number of people to attend. It is stating the address is the Made Mansion. The address is never made public. They tell their ticket holders that they will provide them with the address of the event 2 days in advance of the event. The department purchased a ticket for the event, and the owner learned from that. And as a ticket holder, we were sent a text message or an email that states your safety and our safety is important to us. And because this is a private residence, we have taken the following precautions to ensure the address does not get out. We will have guests rendezvous at a designated location, and there will be party buses driving back and forth all day. The pickup location was 1575 Land O'Lakes Boulevard, Lutz. This is a Walmart parking lot. There will be a white Mustang to mark the pickup spot. There will be white party buses driving from the mansion to the pickup spot till the party is over. The ticket prices ranged from, I believe, $35 all the way up to $12.50. And it makes reference for the $12.50 ticket price. They would get the pirate ship. I'm leaving a word out because I don't want that word as part of the record. Officer Supervisor Tyne and Supervisor Saucier worked the day of the event, which was September 11th. And they took photos from the Walmart parking lot of the individuals being picked up to go to the party. And this is the party bus dropping them off at the mansion address. This is a repeat violator. We are looking for a per occurrence order, and I am requesting the max of approximately $5,000 per event, or else the owner may feel it is worth the cost of doing business to continue to hold these events.
Okay, Counselor, what would you like to tell us?
There you go. It was nice while it lasted. The party house has discontinued putting on any more parties. I printed out the Airbnb and VRBO notices. There's a minimum stay of 7 days, so that complies with the county code. And if I can just show you this. Where I put it. So no parties or events. So the big issue here is that this house has got about 16 bedrooms. It's got a 150,000 gallon pool. It is a pirate ship that's about the same size as the pirate ship in the Buck Stadium. So it's a tough transition to make, but it's a transition that's being made. When this location was built long ago, there was nothing else in the vicinity. So it was originally designed for the purposes that my client used it for, but development of the residential area in proximity to this particular location has rendered the continued party use somewhat of a nuisance. Understandably, you're not going to have a commercial use in a residential zone, so I have been trying to guide my client to modify both his advertising and certainly the folks that he rents the property to make sure that there are no more violations of the Hillsborough County Code. But those photographs were things of the past. I believe that Ms. George, the last communication I got, I thought there was a finding of compliance. It was really just a confirmation that there have been no complaints since this prior event. And that's quite a few weekends since then. So obviously, I think that the proof is my client understands exactly what the county wants and is willing to comply to the best of his ability, starting with the advertisements that attract any new renters of the property for 7 days or more. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, just for clarification, Officer George, and so the board can hear it one more time, you're asking for the maximum penalty amount of $5,000 per incident as far as part of repeat order?
Obviously,
due to the gravity of the situation?
I'd ask for the least possible penalty, but since
Not for
I'm,
you, Counselor. I'm talking to the officer.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. I am asking for a per occurrence at the max.
Okay, understand. All right, questions or comments from the board? Is anyone prepared to make a motion? Ms. Boyd, go ahead.
I move in case CE 21013106. Owners Swanson, Kyle Hamilton, Mark Hamilton, sorry. That based on the evidence presented, I find that the property is again in violation of Hillsborough County Code of Ordinance as listed in the state's staff's presentation and of the previous order dated 9/11/21. This constitutes a repeat violation is as defined in Florida statutes. Further, I order that the per occurrence fine of $5,000 previously ordered in case number CE 21012785 commence as of 09/11/21 and still exists and continues to accrue until compliance is achieved.
Okay. I think the repeat violation motion you're looking for is not the one that's from first inspection date, but the one at the bottom of the first page, which might be a little easier to read. Is that what you're?
Are you asked? I'm having such a hard time hearing you. I really apologize.
Counsel, we're in the process of making a motion. Give us 1 second. Yeah. You want to take another swing at it? Okay, go ahead. Ms. Boyd would like to restate her motion.
Okay. That the fine of $5 per day per occurrence that was previously ordered for any future violations of the code enforcement orders remain in full force and effect, and that the per day per occurrence fine previously ordered be increased to $5,000 for any future violations of the code enforcement orders once compliance has been achieved.
Excuse me, Ms. Boyd, there is not currently a per occurrence order in place. I think they're asking for an order to come into compliance and a per occurrence for future violations, since this is a repeat violator.
And this is Laura George. The property is currently in compliance. Once the party had ended, they are no longer in violation, which is why now we're seeking the per occurrence order.
Sorry about that little paperwork issue. Ms. Boyd would like to give that another try.
I move in the case of CE 210, excuse me, amend that. It's CE 210 2785, that Mark Hamilton and Kyle Swanson's, that based on the evidence presented, I find that the property is again in violation of Hillsborough County Court or ordinances as listed in the staff's presentation and of the previous order dated 09/09 of 2021. This constitutes a repeat violation as defined in the Florida statutes. Further, therefore, I grant 7 days to come into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $5,000 per day be assessed. Additionally, that
Ms. Boyd, the property is in compliance at this time, so there is no need for an order to come into compliance. I apologize, I stated it wrong on the last time I spoke. So really, we're just asking for the per occurrence for future violations because it is a repeat violator. And I apologize for the miscommunication. So the property is in compliance at this time.
Susan, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, do they have the remain in compliance as a repeat violator? That's probably the one that she
Yes.
should read.
It's a repeat violation.
The previous violation was a remain in compliance. And they didn't remain in compliance apparently, so now this is a repeat violation that is now in compliance again. Therefore, the per occurrence is needed for any future violations of the same incident.
Okay, is there something a motion that they can read to that effect?
Yes, Ms. Murphy, we have it straightened out now. Let's give Ms. Boyd one more chance here.
Okay.
Sorry, my apologies. I move in the case CE 210131006 that Mark Hamilton, Kyle Swanson, that based on the evidence presented, I find that the property is again in violation of Hillsborough County Code or ordinances as listed in the staff's presentation and a previous order dated 09/09/2021. This constitutes a repeat violation as defined in Florida statutes. Further, I find that the property is now in compliance with code provision and in order that it remains in compliance with this code provision. Additionally, that a fine of $5,000 per day per occurrence be imposed for any repeat violations of this order.
We have a motion by Ms. Boyd. A second.
Urbaniak will second.
Thank you, Mr. Urbaniak. We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Can I just make one clarification? Is that the per occurrence, is it per day or per event?
Per occurrence of the violation.
Is that what you asked for?
Yes, that is correct. It's per day.
Per day. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Thank
Vice
you,
Chair.
Counselor.
Just with the clerk's office for the clarity of the record, what was the amount?
$5,000 per day per occurrence.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the privilege.
Thank you. Next case, please.
Turn to page 5, number 8, case number CE 21003612. The owner is Sheila Richardson Nixon, 8504 Temple Park Drive. We have service and someone is here for this case. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And state your name and address.
Eric Nixon, 8504 Temple Park Drive, Tampa, Florida.
Do you recognize the property in the photo? Is that your property?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, officer.
I'm Officer Ippolito Padilla, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. I self-initiated this case on March 19, 2021. At the time, it's owner occupied and not in foreclosure. It's a corner property which is very visible. I last inspected it on 10/22. Originally, when I cited it, there was 4 violations cited. He has half of them done, and the 2 that are remaining are accumulations and open outside storage. That 10/22 was Friday, I believe. Over the weekend, he had time to make some corrections, but I was off on Monday, so I haven't got a chance to get over there and see what he has done. So it may be possible that he complied, but I don't know as of yet.
Okay, sir, what would you like to tell the board?
Yes, I did comply to that, but I have a little bit more to do. I put the fence up and got rid of the trash. But I still have a little bit more to do to my satisfaction.
Okay, how much time do you need to complete the work?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yes.
Okay. Officer, any life safety or concerns with that timeline?
No, sir, no life safety issues.
Excellent. Okay. Members of the board, questions or anybody like to make a motion? Mr. Boland?
I move in case number CE 21003612 that based on evidence presented, I find that the property is in violation of Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances as listed in staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of violation actions taken by the violator, violator's history, I agree in 21 days to come in compliance. Compliance is not achieved by that date. A fine of $200 per day be assessed.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second, Clayton.
Second by Ms. Clayton. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Sir, you have 21 days.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Ms. Meyer. Next case, please.
Good morning, sir. Next case is on page 6, number 11, case number CE 200154110. The owner is Sean Reynolds, location 6510 East 23rd Avenue. We have service and someone is signed in for this case. Good morning. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Pull your mask up, please. State your name and address.
Sean Reynolds, 6510 East 23rd Avenue, Tampa, Florida, 33619.
Do you recognize the property
Yes, ma'am.
photo? Thank you.
Go ahead, officer.
Good morning. I'm Armando Gutierrez with Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This case was initially inspected in October 2020. Had quite a few violations that were taken care of. The home is vacant, and the violations that exist have stayed the way they are. Nothing has been done with the remaining violations.
Okay, sir, what would you like to tell the board?
I'm sorry?
Go ahead, sir. What would you like to tell us?
Okay, I don't hear so good. Well, uh, the vagrants and everything, I mean, I've been trying. I mean, it's cleaned up now. I have a gardener that mows the property, keeps the grass down. Some people have dumped, I have no idea who had dumped these bags in the yard there. I do not live there. I'm trying the very best. I'm on a fixed income, and I don't know what I have to do to get out of here. I'm trying to sell the house. We buy ugly houses. The agent is Albert Leaders, and the problem with that is that it's was signed on a different lot. So I'm trying to get out of it. It was something I should have never gotten into. But I promise you, whatever the violation is, I will take care of it for sure.
Okay, sir, how much time do you think you need to complete the repairs and clean up the property?
I would say about a month, sir.
A month?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, members of the board, any questions or motions?
Prepared to make a motion unless
Mr. Razio?
I move in case number CE 200154110 that based on the evidence presented, I find the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances as listed in the staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator, and the violator's history, I grant a period of 30 days to come into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $250 per day be assessed.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
So I'll second it.
Okay, second by Mr. Boland.
But like, could you make it
Discussion?
45 days?
Yes, I'll amend the motion to make it 45 days.
Okay, can you restate your motion and sign it again?
Restate it. I move in case number CE 200154110 that based on the evidence presented, I find the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinance as listed in the staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, actions taken by the violator, and the violator's history, I grant 45 days to come into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $250 per day be assessed.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Boland. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Sir, you have 45 days to complete those repairs and cleanup.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next case is on page 7, number 12, case number CE 210000996. The owner is Deborah Bryan McClama, 10203 East US Highway 92. We have service, and someone is here for this case.
Morning.
Good morning. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
And state your name and address.
Dominic W. Capron, 5302 Mary's Miracle Lane, Tampa.
And what's your relation to this case?
Deborah's my wife,
Okay.
but she can't be here.
So you're,
She's
you're
got-
here representing her then?
Yes.
Do you recognize the property up there?
Yeah, it looks like my house.
All right, thank you.
Good
Officer?
morning. Good morning. Amanda Gutierrez, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This case was initially inspected in January 2021, which also had quite a few violations that were taken care of. And since then, nothing really has been accomplished from what we see now. So it pretty much is in the state that you're looking at on the photos.
Okay, the Z204 and Z609 have complied, so we're just dealing with accumulations, fences, and outside open storage.
Was that question for me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, terrific. All right, sir, what would you like to tell the board?
That for me? Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you clearly.
That's okay. What would you like to tell us, sir?
Well, a lot of the stuff that's on here, some of it has been corrected and some of it hasn't because of the loss of income from the rentals for the pandemic. Since 2020 and counting this year, we probably lost $48,000 in non-paid rentals because the pandemic says, well, you don't have to pay. So none of them paid. They've demolished 2 of the trailers that I have to total do, one due to a mysterious fire, and the other one where they just brought in 5 people to a 1-bedroom trailer, and repeated calls to the police they couldn't do nothing because the people invited them in. So they're legal until you get them out. I was lucky that a lady in Plant City told me how to get them out for not keeping up the lease. And I have 4 evictions that were served. And from there, without any money, and then Deborah she's under hospice care now. So half my time is spent taking care of her when my daughter's not there. But it's getting a little bit better. I got one of the trailers up and rented. So we got 2 trailers from income, and the restaurant is giving us income, but I had to redo the roof on that, which was $16,000. So without the money, it has slowed down tremendously. I have my grandson now correcting. He's doing the lawn and the overgrowth. And I have a gentleman under a future payment if I get the money, and he's putting up the fence and removing a lot of the trash.
That's fantastic. How long do you think, sir, it'll take to complete the process to be in compliance?
Well, hopefully. A lot of it depends on my wife's condition. She's getting worse and worse every day. So I say it would take me a good couple of months. The trailer up in the front, 5316, is going to be a total almost demolition on the inside due to the fire and the soot and the water damage to the floor, which we just redid all the floors and walls and everything in there. The other one, 5310, is in process of being repaired for rental. So if with that said, once I get the roofing finally paid off, I paid most of it, and the person that rents the restaurant loaned us $6,000 So he's paying his rental every other month. So it's slow but surely. I'm pretty sure if you come by in a couple of weeks, you'll see a big change.
I have a question. What's the current zoning on this property? This looks like a residential lot, and I've seen multiple RVs there parked that people are leasing on a long-term lease, and now you've mentioned a restaurant. What are we dealing with here exactly?
Well, the mobile home park has been there as part of the property since I've been on the property since probably 88. And the restaurant building is not the original one, but the original restaurant was Mary's Miracle. It was there since 68 until 2018 when my wife gave up the operation of it and decided it wasn't making a profit. But all the mobile homes, except for the picture, which is our house, which was put there in 98, 99, and the one up in the front, which was put in there 2006. The rest of them have been there 30, 40 years.
Officer, I'm gonna piggyback off of Mr. Urbaniak's question. It appears that some of these are tenant occupied, and questions in regards to life safety. It looks like the recreational vehicles complied back in June, but I see an Airstream and some other appear to be temporary facilities. So I don't know if that's what originally the violation was and it's been corrected and it's back, or how does that work on this property?
I think he's a tad confused with it. The violations aren't with the mobile homes. The violation is the property, the accumulations, and that fence and the outside open storage. That's what the violations are. It's a mobile home park. It's zone CG. So it's zoned properly and it's used, they're using the property for what it's zoned for. But the issue with the violations are the accumulations, the outside open storage, and that fence.
Gotcha. In regards to life safety, no life safety issues?
No life. I have not been in any of the mobile homes, but no, as far as the violations and me being there, no life safety concerns whatsoever.
And based on the gravity of the violation and what you've seen out there, are you okay with the timeline of a couple months? It looks like there's quite a bit of.
It's quite a bit. I've tried to work with him and his wife. I've given 20-day extension, 15 days extension. He states it's an income issue. I'm willing to work with them, of course. And if he thinks, I don't know when he says a couple of months, does he mean 60 days, 45 days?
60 days would give me a little buffer, and that would be good. I have somebody working.
I just don't want him to don't have this in relying on his income. The income on the mobile home park has really nothing to do with picking up the mobile home park. It's not contingent. It's not contingent to the accumulations and the outside open storage as far as income is concerned.
Understand. Okay. Any questions?
Prepared to make a motion.
Mr. Urbaniak?
Yes. I move in case number CE 210000996 that based on the evidence provided, I find that the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances listed in the staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the action taken by the violator's history, I grant a period of 90 days to come into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $250 per day be assessed.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Urbaniak. You have a second?
Sorry.
Second, Mr. Razio? Okay, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, sir. You have 90 days. Get with the officer and he'll come out and verify that it's been completed and you'll be good.
Well, I thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Next case, please.
Next case is number 13, case number CE 21005087. The owner is Harwell Rentals. Location 9851 South US Highway 41. We have service and someone has signed in. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And state your name and address.
Buddy Harwell, P.O. Box 297, Gibsonton, Florida, 33534. I'm president of Harwell Rentals
Okay.
here on their behalf.
Do you recognize the property in the photo?
Yes.
Thank you.
Go ahead, officer.
Good morning, Officer Southern, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. Property in question is located at 9851 South US Highway 41, and it is owned by Harwell Rentals. Property is not in foreclosure. This property was first inspected on April 14th, 2021, and it was cited for accumulations. As of my last inspection of October 18th, the accumulations still remain.
Thank you, officer. Sir, what would you like to tell the board?
Okay. This is a rental property, which is no excuse. I have, once I've got notice of this, I contacted the tenant several times verbally. I've written a couple of letters, which I have copies here. In June, I even started the process of eviction, but I guess I didn't follow the procedure right, and it was null and void. At that time, I contacted my original attorney. By the time he got back to me, he don't do commercial evictions anymore. He referred me back to another attorney I used down in Sun City, Scott Fitzpatrick. I finally got a hold of him last month and talked to him about it. And he pretty much says, sounds like I need to finish the foreclosure. Even though their check keeps clearing every month, you know, that's a hard thing to do, you know, in this day and time. So I just want to ask that you give me a little bit more time. I will get with Mr. Fitzpatrick this week, let him see the lease, find out what I'm allowed to do, because my hands are tied as far as what I'm allowed to throw away of my tenants and, you know, haul away also. So I just asked for a little bit more extension so I can follow the legal procedure and I guess evict the tenant.
Okay. Questions from the board?
Question for the owner. What's your relationship with the tenant? Doesn't seem to me like there's that much stuff to pick up.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear that.
What has been the tenant's response to the problem that we're here today for?
They have cleaned up some of it. The dumpsters are no longer there. They've been back there several times. They'll go empty them and bring it back and start cleaning up. Their response is COVID, hard to find help, you know, the normal stuff like everyone else is having. As of last week, the second dumpster was removed. There's still some trash back there. So, you know, they have done a little bit, but they have, and we tried contacting, I guess we're on the third code enforcement officer now on this case. But the previous one, Christopher Bishop, I tried contacting several times and never got a response. because the tenant was wanting to know exactly what was the requirement, what they wanted to remove and stuff, and we never got a answer back from them. I just recently got a hold of Mr. Sadler yesterday and talked to him about the case, and I'm here to try to make any corrections we can.
Any other questions, board members?
I just had a question. You mentioned that the word eviction and that you had filed for eviction of the tenant. Is that in process still?
No, the one that I filed back in June, and I have a copy. I have a copy of that. I left it. I guess I didn't follow some of the procedures, so it is not active, and that's why I am going to go ahead and get with Mr. Fitzpatrick to, I guess, have it done properly.
Okay. How long do you think it'll take you to evict or remove and comply with these things?
That all depends on how much of a fight they put up. Of course, the original notice for anything other than non-payment is a 15-day notice. I think they're required to have like a 10-day response on that. And then I think there's like another 5-day action. I have to then go to the clerks and file the papers. Then it has to be served. So I'm sure it's at least going to be 90 days, if not a little bit more. And if they object to it and fight it, who knows how long it could be. But like I say, at this point, I cannot afford the fines.
Okay.
So I have to.
Okay, thank you. I'm prepared to make a motion.
Mr. Razio?
I move in case number CE 21005087 that based on the evidence presented, I find the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinance as listed in the staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation and the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant 60 days to come into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $250 per day be assessed.
Second, Clayton.
We have a motion and we have a second by Ms. Clayton. Any discussion? For clarification, the motion was for 60 days?
60.
60 days. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, sir, you have 60 days to go through the process and get that cleaned up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next case, please.
Turn to page 8, number 16, case number CE 21007453. The owner is Ada Torres, 12006 Rose Lane. We have service, and someone is here for this case.
Your Honor, they had to leave a family emergency. I did tell them what needed to be done, and they asked for 30 days. So if you want to do it now, we can wait till the end and do it.
We're here and the case has been called, so anybody like to entertain a motion based on that testimony? They were asking for 30 days.
It's just a fence violation that's left.
Okay, Ms. Clayton?
I move in case CE 21007453 that based on the evidence presented, I find the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances as listed in staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant 60 days to come into compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that time, a fine of $200 a day be assessed.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second.
Second by Rainier.
We have a motion and a second. I think the testimony by the officer was that he had already discussed with the client to be a 30-day.
Okay, I'll amend it to 30 days.
Okay. All right, so your amended motion is 30 days, $200 a day? Ms. Clayton? Your amended motion is
Yes.
30? Okay.
Correct.
I'll still second that. I'm fine with that.
Mr. Urbaniak still seconds. 30 days, $200 a day. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 30 days. Mr. Zalva, next case, please.
Turn to page 9, number 17, CE 21001209. The owner is Mark A. Cater and Deborah H. Cater. The location is a vacant lot in Ruskin, Florida. We have service, and someone is here for this case. Is anybody here for this
He
case?
was here, yes. We go look in the hall real quick. Check.
Someone did sign in, and we're looking around for him. Sir, would you go to the podium, please? Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
And state your name and address.
My name is Anthony Monser, and I live at 103 2nd Street Northeast, Ruskin, Florida.
And what is your relation to this case?
I'm representing the owners.
Okay. Do you recognize the property that's on the screen?
Certainly do.
Thank you. Be sure you speak into the microphone.
I recognize it.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, officer.
Yes, good morning. Officer Carter, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. Property in question is folio 55886-000, a vacant lot located in Ruskin, Florida. This property was first inspected on February 1st, 2021, and was cited for accumulations and overgrowth. Further research revealed the lot was found to be native habitat and incorrectly cited for overgrowth. As of my last inspection conducted October 6, 2021, I met with the gentleman here presently who was kind enough to escort me throughout the property, and accumulations still remain.
Okay, sir, what would you like to tell the board?
Just make sure when you speak that you're speaking into the microphone.
What are these other case numbers here? Because I know what case number we're here for. I'm trying to figure out if there's still something or.
I'm sorry,
I'm
sir,
trying
I
to-
cannot hear you. I'm going to need you to step in front of the microphone to speak.
I'm sorry. I know what case we're here for today, but I would like to try to find out what these two case numbers are and if they're open, they've been resolved, or what's going on.
Sir,
'cause-
we can't work on other cases at this point. You can get with the officers once we deal with this particular case to find out what the status of those are, but we don't have that
Okay.
information. The case we're working with today is for ending in 1209 for the vacant lot for accumulations and overgrowth.
Okay, well, right here is a text message to Mr. Gross. And the date of it is June 14th. And it states in there that we had did all of the work, cleaning it all up, and there was a lot of work to do. Let me tell you what, from the homeless, I have a lot of pictures here that were taken by Eric Tyne and myself. And I started cleaning it all up. And I even talked to Mr. Gross myself, and I had explained to him that I had picked everything up and I only had some tires to get rid of. And I did get rid of those tires. I also have evidence here I want to introduce to the record because of any future problems and what has been going on down here in Ruskin with the homeless and the trash dumping. This particular area was a hotbed. There's the tires. I got rid of all of them. I've spent over $1,000 on getting rid of everybody else's trash that just wanted to dump it on the owner's property. And then also, of course, this is what it looked like when you would drive down there. And as you can see, there's a homeless person with a dog. Now, the little sign on the left are signs that I've erected also with trespass warrant authorization. Most of the trespass authorizations were issued back in, when we got here, 4/20/21. Now, my partner, Catherine Hunter, and I kind of took this on ourselves because of homelessness, trash, and crime. One of the deputies that is specifically assigned to this area and the homeless, I mean, this is homeless trash. That's homeless trash, and then everybody else trash. And I assure you that it is all picked up. And the photo that Mr. Carter provided to you just a minute ago, some trash over last week when he met me. I sent you the text message pictures. Did you see those? Okay. All of the trash is gone. There's no more trash. Apparently, I pointed out to Mr. Carter the other day that one of the other neighbors that owns a nursery has been dumping palm trees over there. Now, let me see how we can do this. See the property in green? That is all of Mr. Hatter's property. Now, the violation property is down here, and that's where all the homeless were living at, and a lot of the trash was accumulated back here by the water. The other properties are all clean of trash now, and the palm trees that are so-called, I don't know if they're a part of this complaint or whatever, but they're located right here. The guy who dumps them there owns this property right here. Now, I'm not a sheriff's deputy and I'm not code enforcement, but I did tell Mr. Carter about it, and I didn't call the sheriff's office like I have before about a lot of other things out there. Now, I'm also indirectly and directly connected to this because I also have a violation against me too, because where I live at. And as you can see again, right there, see the property outlined in yellow? That's my property. And then all the property outlined in red is RTC2.
Okay, sir, let me stop you right there. We're interested in the parcel for which the
Okay,
photo
I'm
number
sorry.
is 055886.
I'm getting
Can't
past
address any of
myself.
the other parcels today or in regards to other debris or issues with any other parcels or neighbors or any of those things. What we're here to discuss is, excuse me, sir.
I'm sorry.
What we're here to discuss is the accumulations and overgrowths on this particular parcel, and it's your testimony that this has been cleaned up and there's no longer accumulations and overgrowth, correct?
No, well, I was under the impression that the grass didn't need to be cut.
Yes, Officer Carter, we had deemed that the overgrowth was incorrectly cited, I stated that earlier, due to the property being native habitat. So the
Thank
only
you, Officer.
violations still remaining are the accumulations.
So all we have remaining is item PM 12.1 for accumulations, sir. Has the trash and debris that has been cited as accumulations on this particular parcel been removed?
Gone.
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 So you are currently in compliance.
They've been gone since we notified Mr. Gross.
Fantastic. So your testimony is that you're in compliance, so we can do a short turn, have the officer come out and inspect, and you're good to go.
Wasn't that what we did last Thursday?
Yes, but once again, October 6th is when we met and the accumulations were there at that time. I have not been back to the property to verify. You sent me pictures, but I have to actually go back and visit.
You
So-
can't rely on your cell
No,
phone
no,
pictures?
no, sir. I have to go.
Okay. All right, then.
Sounds like we all have an understanding, and listen, by your testimony, this has been cleaned up, so I think it'll be a really easy inspection and we'll move forward.
Can I introduce this to the permanent record or?
How many days did we give him, sir?
We haven't yet. The board is yet to rule on
I'm prepared to make a motion, Brian.
Mr. Urbaniak, please, with your motion.
I move in case number CE 21001209, based on the evidence presented, I find the property is in violation of Hillsborough County Codes and Ordinances listed in staff's presentation. Further, based upon the gravity of the violation, the action taken by violator and the violator's history, I grant 3 days to come into compliance, and compliance not reached, at that time a fine of $150 a day be assessed.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Urbaniak. Do we have a second?
Second, Clayton.
Second by Mrs. Clayton. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Sir, in 3 days, the officer will come out to inspect, and if everything's good, we're good. If not, it's a fine of $150 per day.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day. Next case. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 10:50. We're going to take a 10-minute recess at this point. We'll be back at 11 o'clock.
That's right. This is a week to go. How's your family? All well?
All well.
Great.
Doing great.
Good.
16 is youngest.
Oh.
She's now has a car.
Uh-oh. Now the fun
The
begins.
first trip to the dance studio without us was a little hard. Tractor the whole way.
Oh, did you?
My wife asked me last night, she said, "Worried more about her than the others?" And I was like, "She's the last one." It's not fair because she's probably the best driver out of the three of them. I wouldn't tell them that, but
Yeah, that's
so,
not to be shared, huh?
not to be shared. It starts a,
But thank
starts
goodness.
a whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. But you've had the talk about no cell phone and driving
Right,
and all
right,
that good stuff.
Right, we got
Yeah.
that all plugged in. And
Yeah.
her first trip to school by herself.
Woo! Now that to me is the challenging part, because when they see their friends and they're doing something brand new.
Well, I mean, it really is a relief to us.
For focus, you
Yeah,
know,
it's a relief to us because she's so busy. Like,
she
you
can
know,
do herself,
yeah,
get
she
there
dances-
herself
she
now.
dances,
Yeah.
She dances 4 nights a week. So,
Wow.
you know, it was 4 nights hanging out in the parking lot. So I kind of missed that one, but she's good.
Ah, good. How neat.
String it out a little bit.
We're only half.
Andy, please. Thank you.
If everyone can please take their seats, we're going to get started soon. The meeting will begin in 3, 2, 1.
Call the board back in session. Ms. Meyer, call your next case, please.
Turn to page 11, number 22, case number CE 21005706. The owners are Sharon Marie Ferguson and Richard Mark Ferguson II. 10412 Goshawk Drive. We have service, and someone has signed in for this case. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And state your name and address.
My name is Jarrett Ratliff, representing 10412 Goshawk Drive, Riverview, Florida. I currently live at the address and representing my mother, which she's here, but the
Okay.
property in question.
So she's your mother is one of the owners?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Do you recognize the property?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Officer Jason Zalva, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement, on 5/18/2021. Code enforcement arrived at 10412 Goshawk Drive for a reinspection. I had been there previously, spoke to him, and gave him a 7-day notice, extension to remove a couple items, which they did. However, more stuff accumulated, to include they have a burnt out Trans Am, a motorcycle without tag. The motorcycle had expired tag more than 90 days. They also had a horse trailer and a bunch of accumulations, outside storage items that were underneath the front of the horse trailer. At that point, they were issued a 15-day notice of violation. As of 6/7, the violations remained, and is referred to hearing. Now, I had spoken with this gentleman here, and he stated that he was using the trailer for storage, and it does meet the setbacks, but it is considered a commercial trailer, horse trailer, would not be authorized on residential property.
Okay, sir, what would you like to tell the board?
Yes, I had made arrangements with this gentleman when I moved to the property. Of course, we had that prior incident before. Yes, I'm aware the trailer is not exactly the most aesthetically pleasing. Yes, it does use a functional purpose for me. Originally, when it came up, he told me about the accumulations as he spoke underneath the front of the trailer, which I tried to nullify at that time. But at the same time, another person, a bishop, came up and put these additional allegations against me for violations. And I tried to contact the gentleman multiple times, email, all that, never got a response. I received this letter about 2 months ago to appear here. And I just actually, speaking to Jason, had gotten some clarity on the issue because, like he said, as far as the trailer setback, as in how it's parked and away from the house and not past the front edge and all that, was okay at the time. But now I'm aware, as stated, is that I cannot have the trailer there. So I guess any additional action is required by me to either remove the trailer, or what I have to do is up to y'all.
Well, yes, sir. You mean in regards to the accumulations, the inoperable vehicles, and the storage, have you taken care of those items at this point?
As you see in the photo, the trailer's there. We were talking about like either putting a fence, but I had asked, if maybe I could just put a barrier in the front. Which you see, that's the screening I put up on the front because I was trying to just, because we have no shade, no like real storage, have no backyard. You can't put a shed in the backyard. There's no backyard of this property. So, some accumulation, sometimes like the bike, I would generally park underneath the front of the trailer, kind of shade it from the sun. And the car is there and it's a project car, but due to everything that's happened in the last like 2 years, I don't have the money really the time to put in it, but it is stayed there covered and maintained as far as inflated tires and such. I try not to let it look like a total derelict vehicle. It's a little bit clapped out. It's not burnt out, but it's, a little clapped out, but it needs work. And other than that, the registration issues of the bike, I currently cannot resolve that due to my license being suspended. It's just another thing with money and situations like that.
Okay, so how much time do you think you need to comply with the items here today?
Well, depending on the require, if the trailer's the big deal, I can deal with the trailer. The car, I would prefer if I could get a little leniency on that. And as far as the registration, I'll do what I can, I could park the bike on what little area I got in the backyard if I have to. But as far as the removal of the trailer, if it's absolutely required, I'll do what I can. But yeah, 30, 60 days, I'll do something with it. Even if I have to drag a thing into a metal yard, I'll just get it out of there.
I understand. All the violations that are listed are all active, so all of them would need to be addressed, but you're saying 30 to 60 days, you think?
Yeah, well, like as I spoke, I tried to get a hold of this Bishop gentleman that originally, because I had came home and the note was on the door or whatever. I tried to contact him just to see, because I had an agreement with this gentleman prior and I thought I was okay. And I was trying to make sure, am I really violating or is it, I was a little unclear because I never could get a hold of this Bishop gentleman. So I was trying to resolve it then all the way back. I even got an email on my phone from, June 15 of trying to contact the man.
Well, the good news is you made contact with Officer Zalva and you have his contact information. So it sounds like moving forward, you should be able to get this addressed and be able to clarify what is and is not a violation. So
Yes, I'll do what I can.
All right. Any questions by the board? He requested 30 to 60 days. Yes, sir.
I'm prepared to make a motion.
Okay, Mr. Urbaniak, go ahead.
Okay. I move in case number CE 210005706. Based on the evidence provided, find that the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances listed in staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity violation, the action taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant a period of 45 days to come into compliance, and the compliance not achieved by that date, a fine of $200 a day be assessed.
Mr. Urbaniak has a motion for 45 days, $200 a day. Do I have a second?
Second, Clayton.
Second by Ms. Clayton. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Ferguson, you have 45 days to complete the cleanup and move that item and move the items off your property if necessary, or the fine will start running at $200 a day. Get with the officer and he can help you out.
Okay.
Thank you. Next case, please.
Turn to page 12, number 23, case number CE 21006051. The owner is Nelson Development Services LLC, location 10106 Midway Street. We have service and someone is here for this case. Good morning. Are you an attorney representing the owner?
I am.
Okay. State your name and address.
My name is Mike Nelson. I'm attorney for Nelson Development, law office of Nelson, Biscayne, McLean, 1005 North Marion Street, Tampa, Florida, 33602.
Do you recognize that property?
I do recognize that property.
Thank you.
Officer Jason Zalva, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. On 5/30/2021, Hillsborough County Deputy Sheriff called me and requested my assistance at unsecure property at 10106 Midway Street. I arrived and met with the HCSO deputies who had two vagrants on the property. And then at that point, they trespassed them from the property. We cleared the residence because the door was open, and then I secured the door. There were a great deal of accumulations to include clothing, mattresses, tub, junk, trash, debris. This property had many violations of past. That's on this, and I'd request a 15-day notice of violation. On 6/2, code enforcement responded again for reinspection and observed vagrants had been removed, but all the accumulations still remained. And the officer then sent a 3-day repeat violator letter to the owner and registered agent. On 6/7, it went back for reinspection. All violations still remained, and we're here today.
Okay, sir, what would you like to tell the board?
We did do the trespasses we were requested to do. We have a contract with a company to clean it up. They asked for 90 days. At the end of the 90 days, they asked for another 90 days. It's Hunter Hauling. So if I could get 45 days from the board, I'm sure we can clear it up.
Any questions or concerns, officers, Al, with that timeline?
No, sir. I did secure the doors to keep people out, and there's no life safeties immediately around the building.
Okay, and this accumulations does qualify as a repeat violator?
I'm sorry, repeat that, sir.
Still this accumulations violation, the PM 12.1 qualifies as a repeat violator?
Yes, sir. I believe it does.
Okay. Okay. So we're looking for that motion. Anyone want to make a motion?
I'm prepared to make a motion.
Okay, Mr. Razio.
I move in case number CE 21006051 that based on the evidence presented, I find the property is again in violation of Hillsborough County Code or ordinance as listed in staff's presentation and of the previous order dated 04/26/2018. This consists of a repeat violation as defined in the Florida statutes. Further, therefore, I grant 45 days to come into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved by that date, an amount of $300 per day be assessed. Additionally, that a fine of $300 per day per occurrence be opposed for any repeat violations after compliance is achieved.
We have a motion by Mr. Razio. Do we have a second?
Second, Urbaniak.
And we have a second. Board, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So you have 45 days to get that cleaned up and straightened out. Otherwise, the penalty begins at $300 a day. Additionally, any repeat violations will be incurred at $300 a day as well.
I understand. Thank you.
Thank you. Next case, please.
Number 24, case number CE 21007021. The owner is David Saffold. Location 7411 Sims Road. We have service and someone is signed in here. Good morning. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
And now state your name and address.
Eric Saffold, 7411 Sims Road.
And what relation are you to David Saffold?
He's my father. I'm his father.
Okay, and you're representing him?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Do you recognize the property in the
Yes,
photo?
ma'am.
Officer Jason Zalva, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. On 5/19/2021, Code Enforcement Officer responded for a routine case for accumulations, inoperable vehicles, multiple RVs, and observed multiple RVs parked at the rear of the property, accumulations, and a Corvette parked in the car park without wheels. The officer approached the owner's son, Eric, who stated the Corvette had been like that for years and tagged the trail and tags for the trailers were inside. He was unable to verify the RVs and trailers at the rear of the yard were operable. There were numerous dead potted plants west side of the property. Eric stated that he planned on planting them. Eric stated that his dad had been sick and had not been able to do much. The officer then drove around a tangled branch lane where he observed the RVs clearly, but could not determine where the property line was located. The officer requested a 15-day notice of violation to be sent to the property owner. At that time, his business card was left with Eric. On 6/7, responded to Sims Road for reinspection and observed all violations still remain, but progress was being made and cleanup had commenced, and he granted a 7-day extension. On 6/24, again, there had been significant progress. He met with his son Eric and he's actively working on violations. and he granted a 10-day extension upon that as well. On 7/15, the violation still remained, and he referred this case to a hearing. And that's why we are here today.
Okay, sir, what would you like to tell the board?
I'm on, I want to say on 7/28, 7/29, I text Christopher and let him know that I was just in an accident. My father had caught COVID. My mother had caught COVID. I asked him for a little bit of time to go ahead and get it done. A lot of it has been done already, but it's not all the way done yet.
Okay, sir. Well, it sounds like since that time, when you texted asking for extra time, it's been another 90 days. So how much time do you think you need to?
Give me 30 days.
30 days to complete all the items that are currently in violation?
Well, yeah, as far as I know, there's only one motorhome, one houseboat in the back. There's not multiple motorhomes, nothing like that. You were out there a couple years ago. You said that the Corvette was fine under there, and then Christopher came there a couple months ago, said the Corvette had to be moved. So, like I said, it's for the most part, everything's out of there other than the Corvette.
We did have a code board case on with the RV that was inoperable, and he did go into fine run status. And then it was cleared up because he did show that he did get the tires inflated and it was operable. He moved it back. At that time, he was not cited for multiple RVs, because my understanding at the time was he could have the boat and the RV, and that's where we were. But that case was complied.
Okay, so
I didn't have to worry about the Corvette then also.
Yeah, he was not cited for the Corvette because it was a project car undercover at the time.
So that's why I'm kind of worried. I'm kind of questioning. I don't know. I have one code enforcement officer saying that Corvette's fine. The other one saying that no, it's not. It needs to get out there. So
It's Carmine Pisano. The Corvette based on Jason's testimony, is not correct. It is an inoperable vehicle. It is a vehicle for the road, and it is not prepared to go on the road. And then we have excessive utility vehicles. He's got to take it down to one. We have a mobile home, the boat, and we have a utility trailer, and it can only be one choice for it to be on the property. So he may need more than 30 days to accomplish the goal of relocating the other excessive recreation utility vehicles and the vehicle, that being the Corvette.
So it's only one recreational vehicle?
I stand corrected. The utility trailer can be there and he needs to make a decision with the mobile home versus the boat.
Okay. So other than that and that and the Corvette. Okay. So okay. All right.
So we're all on the same page now in regards to what is in violation.
Yeah, just the motorhome or the houseboat and the Corvette under the carport. Correct?
Yes, you got to get rid of either the boat or the motorhome, and you got to get rid of the Corvette or find a place to have it stored inside a structure.
That enclosed trailer has already been moved. Oh, I'm sorry. That enclosed trailer has already been moved and sold out of there. Then a lot of the stuff's already been moved around. The houseboat and the motorhome is still there, and the Corvette is still there.
Okay, so I'll go back to my original question. How much time do you think you need to?
With me moving out the motorhome, give me like 45 days, 30, 45 days.
Okay, all right. We'll see what the board wants to do. I'm happy to entertain a motion, or if anybody has any questions.
I'll make a motion.
All right, Mr. Urbaniak.
I move in case number CE 21007021 that based on the evidence provided, I find the properties in violation of Hillsborough County Codes or ordinances listed in staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of violation, the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant a period of 45 days to come into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $300 a day be assessed.
We have a motion by Mr. Urbaniak. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bolin. Any
Can I ask one
discussion?
more? Can I
All
ask,
in favor?
now,
Aye.
on the Corvette,
Opposed?
does this, okay, I'm sorry.
Motion carries. Sir, you have 45 days.
Okay, now on the Corvette, does it have to be, with it being under a carport, can it stay under the carport or does it have to? Okay.
We're going to ask you to take that on a sidebar with Officer Zalva, be able to figure that out, and he'll
All right,
what
yes, sir.
needs to be done, and then come out to verify that it's complete.
All right.
All right? Thank you, sir. Next case, please.
Turn to page, turn to page 14, number 29, CE 21009652. The owner is Hamilton Bay Property Holdings LLC. Location 1801 Princeton Lakes Drive, and specifically 1815 Princeton Lakes Drive, apartment 709. We have service and someone is signed in for this case. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And state your name and address.
Alexandria Broad, 9816 Crofton Lane, Fort Ritchie, Florida, 34668.
And what is, are you representing the owner or?
Property manager, so I'm representing the
Okay.
property, and this is my regional and the maintenance supervisor.
Oh,
that are here
okay.
with me.
I don't see a picture. If they're going to testify, let's go ahead and get them on the record. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
And state your name and address into the microphone, please.
Regina Ponche, 28700 Falling Leaves Way, Wesley Chapel, Florida 33543.
Michelangelo Attila, 6907 Travis Boulevard, 33610.
And did the two of you sign in on the sign-in sheets? Okay, thank you. And do you recognize that photo? Yes, thank you.
Go ahead, officer.
All right, I'm Officer Watson with Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. And this address here is 1905 Princeton Lakes Drive, apartment 2102. The initial inspection was on July 1st of 2021 with one violation. At this time, that is complied as of 10/15, and we're going to be asking for a ruling. The ceiling of the apartment had water damage and has since been complied. This was also served as a combo notice along with several other ones.
Okay. Ma'am, what would you like to tell us?
Well, we took care of the violations that were on the code enforcement. We found out on September 15th, so between September 15th and October 22nd, all violations has been taken care of.
Okay, so it sounds like we're in agreement, so we'll just do a quick turn on this one. Anybody would like to make a motion?
I'll make one.
Mr. Bullen?
I move case number CE 21009156. The base of evidence presented of finding the property is in violation of Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances listed in the staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of violation actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant 3 days to come compliance. Compliance is not achieved by that date. A fine of $150 per day be assessed.
We have a motion by Mr. Bullen. Do we have a second?
Second, Clayton.
Ms. Clayton seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Excuse me, board members, restate the case number, please. I thought I heard the wrong one.
21009156?
No, it's 9652. It's the number 29.
Oh,
It's the same
Picture that was shown on the,
it's not.
picture that was shown on the screen was for 9156.
All of these cases from here on in
all the same.
They're all the same property with different
Right.
apartments.
So he gave testimony on 9156, and I showed the display on 9156.
That's correct.
I apologize. I had called the next one. Just for the record, 21009156 is also the same owner, Hamilton Bay Property Holdings LLC, and it is for 1905 Princeton Lakes Drive, apartment 2102. Is it complied? Yes.
Do we need to restate the motion or does that suffice?
That's what they're reflecting.
I would think the motion would be fine because you read it to this case.
Is it? Asking for remaining complaints on this one, yes?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, and number 28, case number CE 210091156 is in compliance as of October 15, 2021, and code enforcement is requesting a remain in compliance, and I do apologize for the mix-up.
Thank you.
Do you want to do another motion for remain in compliance?
Well, as a motion, part of the motion, when it's sent, is a remain in compliance. So
Okay. Do you want me to call number 29 again?
sure. We completed case number 28. We did a 3-day, $150 a day. So somebody can go out and inspect. And that case is complete and we can go on to number 29.
Number 28 is in compliance, though. That was the one that needed a remain in compliance.
I understand. And as part of our
Okay.
motion of 3 days, $150 a day, that motion comes with a remain in compliance, correct?
Yeah, this motion comes fine too. Everything that's been made is. He's gonna come in 3 days and he's gonna do an inspection. Okay, fine. I apologize.
No worries.
Number 29 then is next, and that's the one I did call previously. Do you want to go through it all again?
Please.
CE 2100962, Hamilton Bay Property Holdings LLC, 1815 Princeton Lakes Drive, apartment 709. And the parties are present for this case.
All right, 1815 Princeton Lakes Drive, apartment 709. The initial inspection date was 7/12/2021 with 4 violations. Currently, I was unable to gain entry for the inspection. All violations still remain on agenda for ruling. The microwave oven not heating, light switch missing a knob, interior surfaces, and all walls. In walls. So summary of violations: upon inspection of 7/20, the violations mentioned above were found and have yet been reported identified as completed. A source of water damage needs to be identified and corrected to prevent further damage. Go ahead.
Okay, ma'am, what would you like to tell the board?
So the issues in the apartment has been rectified. We do have our receipts and pictures taken as of October 22nd. I can put those there. So electrical outlets in apartment 709 were replaced along with the microwave here. This is going to show our invoice where we did have the gutters that was causing the window leaks repaired. This is where we had taken care of that.
Okay, so everything now is currently in compliance.
Yes, sir.
So when you have somebody that the inspector can come out and do an inspection in a timely process?
Yes, sir.
Okay, terrific. Board, any questions, comments, or motion?
Make a motion.
Mr. Urbaniak.
I move in case CE 2100965 based on the evidence provided, find the properties in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances listed in the staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of violation, the action taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant 3 days to come into compliance, and the compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $150 a day be assessed.
We have a motion by Mr. Urbaniak. Do we have a second?
Second, Clayton.
Second by Mrs. Clayton.
I would do these all the same building.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 3 days, $150 a day. Next case, please.
Turn to page 15, number 30, case number CE 21009954. The owner is Hamilton Bay Property Holdings LLC. And this location is 1811 Princeton Lakes Drive, apartment 514. And we have service and the parties are here. I have another, are you Regina?
I'm Regina.
Okay, I've got your name written down on this one. Okay. So all the parties are still here for this case.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Go ahead, officer.
Address 1801 Princeton Lakes Drive, Brandon, Florida 33511. This is the common hallway of 1811. The violation as of 10:15 was still present. Lights in the common hallways and stairwells are not always illuminated.
Go ahead, ma'am. Why don't you tell us?
Okay. Violations were taken care of. We did place an outside light there in the hallway. Everything that was attached to our violations, we had taken care of in-house. In addition, we did pay a vendor to come out and repaint as well, and we do have the receipts for that.
Terrific. So you're in compliance.
Yes.
We're doing great. Board members? Anyone question or motion?
Make a
Ms.
motion.
Ms. Boyd?
I move in case CE 21009954 that based on the evidence presented, I find that the property is in violation of Hillsborough County Codes ordinance as listed in the staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the action taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant 7 days to come into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $200 per day be assessed.
I have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second, Urbaniak.
Second by Mr. Urbaniak for discussion. We've got the same property owner and we've got the same agent going out to look at these. So unless there's something different, we might want to try to keep the same timeline if everything's complied, so that something go out once and not twice. Would you consider modifying your motion to 3 days to be consistent?
Sure.
I'm fine with that on the second as well. I think we should
Okay.
have them all the same.
So we modified the violation, the motion to Ms. Boyd to 3 days, $200 per day.
Yep.
Seconded. Okay, any discussion? Motion in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Excellent. Thank you. Next case, please.
Number 31, case number CE 21010051, Hamilton Bay Property Holdings LLC, 1602 Harvard Woods Drive, apartment 2312. We have service and the same parties are here for this case.
Officer?
Yes, address 1602 Harvard Woods Drive, apartment 2312 in Brandon, Florida 33511. The initial inspection was on July 26, 2021 with 3 violations. 2 violations currently remain with windows and exterior doors and interior surfaces as of 10/15/2021. There are still damage around the window frames and in the second apartment room, water damage still apparent on the ceiling.
Go ahead, ma'am. What would you like to tell us?
And so the ceilings were repaired. We do have pictures showing that the ceiling was repaired. This did take place, I believe, October 20th. I can showcase the pictures and the work orders attached to it stating that they were repaired. And then the resident also, we had her sign that the repairs were done as well.
Okay, fantastic. So everything's in compliance.
Yes, sir.
Okay, terrific.
Prepared to make a motion?
Mr. Urbaniak?
In case CE 21010051, based on the evidence provided, I find that properties in violation of Hillsborough County Court ordinances listed in staff's presentation. Further, based upon the gravity of violation, the action taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant a period of 3 days to come into compliance. If compliance not achieved by that date, a fine of $150 a day be assessed.
We have a motion for Mr. We have a second.
Second, Clayton.
Second by Ms. Clayton. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next case, please.
Page 16, number 32, CE 21010947, Hamilton Bay Property Holdings LLC. And this one is 1827 Princeton Oaks Circle, apartment 1303. And we have service, and the same parties are still here for this case.
Go ahead, Officer.
Officer Watson with Hillsborough County Code Enforcement, address 1827 Princeton Oaks Circle, apartment 1303, Brandon, Florida 33511. The initial inspection date is 08/06/2021 with 4 violations. And as of 10/15/2021, all of the violations still remained. Gutters not sealed, causing water damage to exterior walls and interior of the apartment. Infestation, walls and ceilings have water damage and is soft to the touch, and black organic growth in affected areas. There's a water leak entering the wall that appeared to be coming from the gutters and in the ceiling, causing damage to the ceiling and walls, causing black organic growth and infestation. Upon the last inspection, the gutters had been repaired but remained unfinished with exposed boards without protective treatment. That's all I have.
Ma'am, what would you like to tell the board?
All right, in reference to apartment 1303, we did have a contractor come out. He did repair the roof with new shingles. He also replaced the gutter, which was causing the roof leaks and the leaking inside of the apartment. So we have that we can showcase to you guys.
Okay. have the
Including
interior
pest
repairs been
control.
completed?
We also have attached pest control where we did have the unit treated. We are suggesting to the resident that they go on a weekly routine treatment for pest control.
Okay, and have the interior surfaces and walls been repaired as well?
Yes,
Okay, so everything
No.
is on this list is in compliance.
they're still working on that one. I'm sorry, that's one that's still in repair, and that is also a contingent upon the resident. He has 2 animals, 2 cats and a bird. So we have to work around his schedule as to when he would like us to come and complete the inside. However, we took care of what we could on the outside of the property, including the gutters and
Okay.
the roof.
Okay, how much time do you think you need to coordinate with the tenant to get the rest of the items on the list in compliance?
The resident has informed us that he does not want us in his unit working while he's still a resident there. So contingent upon, I guess, his lease ending.
Do you know how much longer he has on the lease?
I'm not certain as of right now.
Probably gonna need your assistance. I mean, he's
Yeah.
refusing.
Okay, if he's refusing, I mean, we'll work with him just again.
Thank you.
But attached is where we did the outside work to stop the leaking.
Okay, if we have a tenant that's refusing access, can we go ahead and go through this process and?
No, we're gonna pull the interior charges.
Excellent, thank you. So the only items we're dealing with today will be R11.7.4 for roofs and R11.8.2 for infestation of interior space, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
And those 2 items have complied.
yes.
Terrific. Okay. Looking for a motion. Board? The 2 that are non-compliant, well, the 2 that are being removed at this point are the interior surfaces and interior floors. So just items 1 and 2 are what we're dealing with today. Would you like to make a
Yes.
motion, Mr. Razio?
Yes, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Please.
I move that in case number CE 21010947, that based on the evidence presented, I find that the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinance as listed in the staff's presentation. Particularly the item R11.7.4 and item R11.8.2. Further, based on the gravity of the violation and the actions taken by the violator's history, I grant 10 days. 3 days? Okay. 3 days to come into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved by that date, an amount of $150 a day be assessed.
All right, we have a motion from Mr. Razio for 3 days at $150 a day after.
Second, Urbaniak.
Second by Mr. Urbaniak. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Can I make a request on 1303 to enter the building? Is it possible that we can have a 7-day extension to allow him access to enter?
They pulled the interior one, so
Yeah, we removed the interior, so that'll come off separate. This is just in regards to the roof and infestation.
Thank
So
you.
3 days, $150 a day, so that'll come out and inspect that portion only. Next case, please.
Number 33, case number CE 21010969, Hamilton Bay Property Holdings LLC. And this one is 1813 Princeton Lake Drives, apartment 610. We have service and the same parties are still here.
Go ahead, officer.
All right, 1813 Princeton Lakes Drive, apartment 610, Brandon, Florida, 33511. Initial inspection was 08/06/2021 with 6 violations. Violations current is interior light fixture, plumbing fixture, windows and exterior doors, interior surfaces, doors, and general maintenance of equipment. The lighting in the kitchen area does not turn on. Bathroom tub needs to be resealed. The tile is cracked. Bedroom window frame is damaged and leaks. The bedroom window and bathroom ceiling have black organic growth on it. Entrance door does not close unless you slam it. It does not sit properly in the frame. The water heater connection are corroded and rusted. Repairs need to be made to that.
Okay, ma'am, what would you like to tell us?
All repairs in Unit 16 has been repaired and taken care of. We can showcase here the pictures.
You're welcome to show them if you want to, but it sounds like your testimony is that you're in compliance, so somebody's going to come out and
That is correct.
inspect it. So everything on the list is good to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay, terrific. Board?
I'll make a
Ms. Clayton?
motion.
Please.
I move in case CE 21010969 that based on the evidence presented, I find the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances as listed in staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant 3 days to come into compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $150 a day be assessed.
We have a motion by Ms. Clayton. Do we have a second?
Second, Orazio.
Second by Mr. Razio. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 3 days, $150 per day. Next case, please.
Turn to page 17, number 34, CE 210110002, Hamilton Bay Property Holdings LLC, and this one is 1813 Princeton Lakes Drive, apartment 607. We have service, and the parties are still here for this case.
Go ahead, officer.
All right, Officer Watson with Hillsborough County Code Enforcement, 1813 Princeton Lakes Drive, apartment 607, Brandon, Florida, 33511. Initial inspection was 08/11/2021 with 5 violations. Current violations are as of, dishwasher, protective treatment, sink base, interior surface, interior floors. I was unable to gain access for the inspection since August 11th, 2021, nor contacted by tenants or staff of violations being completed as of 10/15. This dishwasher turns on but does not clean. Paint peeling and chipping in the living room area, the patio storage closet is also chipping, and the sink base has exposed surfaces and delamination of the surface and missing paint. The living room wall and ceiling, as well as the air handler closet, has black organic growth. Part of the living room wall is missing drywall and covered by a plastic sheet.
Okay, ma'am, I'll check to us.
No, this one didn't sign off. So apartment 607, all work was completed. We did shut the apartment down so that vendors can go into the unit and take care of all the necessary repairs. The resident since then has moved out of the unit, and the unit has been fully reinstated, and a new resident now lives there.
Okay, all items are in compliance and ready for inspection.
Yes.
Excellent. Board members? Mr. Bowen?
Sure. I move in case number CE 21011002. That based on evidence presented, I find the property is in violation of Hillsborough County Code of Ordinances listed. Staff's presentation further based on the gravity of the violation, actions taken by the violator and the violator's history. I grant 3 days to come in compliance. Compliance is not achieved by that date. A fine of $200 per day be assessed.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Boland. Do we have a second?
Second, Clayton.
Ms. Clayton seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. 3 days, $200 per day. Next case, please.
Number 35, CE 21012097, Hamilton Bay Property Holdings LLC, 1811 Princeton Lakes Drive, apartment 509. We have service and the parties are here for this case.
Go ahead, officer.
All right, 1811 Princeton Lakes Drive, apartment 509, Brandon, Florida, 33511. Initial inspection was 08/24/2021 with 4 violations. Currently, 3 violations still remain: interior doors, infestation, and ceilings, and this is as of 10/15/2021. The bifold doors did not set properly in the frame, infestation of roaches, protective ceiling covering, ceiling is peeling, and the water heater closet has an uncovered piece of plywood as the floor.
Okay, officer, you noted 3 outstanding violations, and I have 4. Is there something that's been complied, or are we all in violation for all 4 still?
These,
You go.
the issues were taken care of. We also have the resident's telephone number and signature, confirming that the issues were taken care of along with our pictures.
Fantastic. You guys are
Mr.
very thorough.
Lawrenson, to answer your question, interior doors was canceled from this case, so there are only 3 violations listed.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll entertain a motion by the board for the remaining 3 items.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Urbaniak.
I move in case CE 21012097 that based on the evidence provided, I find the property is in violation of Hillsborough County Court's ordinances listed in staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant a period of 3 days to come to compliance, and if compliance not achieved by that date, a fine of $150 per day be assessed.
We have a motion by Mr. Urbaniak. Do we have a second?
Second,
Mr.
Razio.
Razio seconds the motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. 3 days, $150 per day. Next case, please.
Page 18, number 36, CE 21012784, Hamilton Bay Property Holdings LLC, 1827 Princeton Lakes Drive, apartment 1316. And we have service, and the same parties are still here, and it looks like this one is complied as of October 15, 2021, and a remaining compliance is requested.
Okay, ma'am, I think I know the answer, but I'll go ahead and give you an opportunity. Is there anything you'd like to add?
And signature from the resident stating that everything is in compliance and taken care of as well.
Fantastic. Okay, so we're looking for an order to stay in compliance from the board. Anyone? Like to make that motion? Ms. Boyd?
I can.
I move in the case of CE 21012784 that based on the evidence presented, I find that the property was in violation of Hillsborough County Codes ordinance as presented. Further, I find that the property is now in compliance with this code provision in order that it remain in compliance with this code provision.
We have a motion by Ms. Boyd. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Clayton. Discussion. Not seeing any. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, remain in compliance. Next case, please.
Number 37, CE 21012857, Hamilton Bay Property Holdings LLC, 1813 Princeton Lakes Drive, Apartment 606. And we have service, and the same parties are still present.
Go ahead, officer.
All right, 1813 Princeton Lakes Drive, Apartment 606, Brandon, Florida, 33511. Initial inspection date was 09/08/2021 with a total number of 5 violations. The current violations exist are exterior light fixture, plumbing fixture, window, interior surfaces, and interior doors. So upon inspection of 10/15/2021, it was observed that the violation of the exterior light fixture was still missing. The bulb thus not functioning. The bulb was gone, so it wasn't functioning also. Toilet chain had not been adjusted. Interior windows in the main bedroom and common room show signs of leaking and are not properly sealed, causing black organic growth on the interior surfaces. An interior air handler closet does not track properly on its guide.
Okay, ma'am, what would you like to add?
So on this particular unit, we do want to show you pictures where we did order a new air conditioning handler that has since been installed. We also have the pictures of the toilet tank being repaired, and in addition to the light fixtures outside and the window sills that are all been taken care of. So,
Okay, terrific. So all items that are in violation for apartment 606 are now in compliance.
yes.
Excellent. Anybody from the board like to make a motion?
I'm prepared to make a motion.
Mr. Azio.
Case number CE 21012857. I move in, based on the evidence presented, I find the property is in violation of Hillsborough County Codes ordinances as listed in staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation and the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, that I grant 3 days to come into compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $150 a day be assessed.
No motion for Mr. Azio for 3 days, $150 a day. Do I have a second?
Second, Urbaniak.
By Mr. Urbaniak. Discussion. Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 3 days, $150 per day. Next case, please.
Page 19, number 38, CE 21012957, Hamilton Bay Property Holdings LLC, 1610 Harvard Wood Drive, Apartment 2705. We have service, and the same parties are still here for this case.
1610 Harbor Woods Drive, Apartment 2705. The initial inspection was 09/09/2021 with 2 violations. And as of 10/15, 2 violations still remain. Windows and interior surfaces. The windows in the bedroom are leaking and causing black organic growth.
So in registered unit 2705, we do have the signature and telephone number from the resident that occupies the unit. We also have proof here where the bathroom drywall repairs and all the repairs that were in the unit were taken care of. We do have our invoices from several of our vendors where they've performed work inside of this unit in particular.
Okay, terrific. Members of the board.
I had a question.
Please.
We had one case on apartment 610, and this is the second one. It's on page 16, case 33. I don't know if we need to just include this in that one or what the procedure is.
That's a great question. We have 2 cases on the same apartment.
Yes, sir, we do. There's 2 case
33 and
numbers for
38.
unit number 610. 2 different case numbers for one unit.
It appears case number,
What was the other case number? Because we have several in one apartment complex and one's just a breezeway above the staircase.
Right. Okay, we do have apartment 16, or 610 on two different cases. The Number 33 on the
It should
agenda,
be-
case number CE 21010969,
Mhm.
and then 39.
What was the case number for the second one?
The other one didn't.
21012988.
Yeah, that's going to be the stairwell outside of 610.
Okay, it's not actually the apartment.
no worries. So we're still working on case 38, the 12957. Anybody like to entertain a
While
motion?
we're all here and don't have to come back.
Absolutely.
I don't have the gin in front of me. I have case to 2988 and the other one was 2957, right? No, not 2957, 0969. Yeah, so one's the stairwells outside of 1813.
Yeah, they were taken care of.
But the case we are just now working on is number 38 on the agenda.
Yes, we're just
That's
ahead
the
of
one we're still on.
Yes, ma'am. We're just ahead of the curve. We're overachievers.
Okay.
So no worries.
Yeah.
We're still working on case 38.
Getting ahead of yourselves, it'll be explained.
Yes. Well, the numbers are starting to blur together. We've had these folks standing here for a while, so. Okay, go ahead. Anybody like to make, Mr. Rossi or Ms. Clayton, you want to make a motion?
I move in case CE 21012957 that based on the evidence presented, I find that property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances as listed in staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant 3 days to come into compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $150 a day be assessed.
Motion by Ms. Clayton. Do we have a second?
Second, Urbaniak.
Thank you, Mr. Urbaniak. Discussion. Seeing none. Motion all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 3 days, $150 per day. Next case, please.
Number 39, case number CE 21012988. The owner is Hamilton Bay Property Holdings LLC. The location is 1813 Princeton Lakes Drive, and it is the building and not a single, not apartment 610. That was a mistake. Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
And we have service and same parties are still here.
Fantastic. Officer?
All right, so it's 1813 Princeton Lakes Drive, the stairwell, the violations are, the stairwell was missing a ceiling. It has currently been replaced with vinyl covering. However, there is still paint chipping and missing. You can see on the backside there.
Go ahead, ma'am.
The main violation has been complied where it was just an open hole.
Okay.
But I would like to show pictures of where the outside of the sun for building 610 was taken care of and looks like repainted since the pictures that was just showcased.
Okay, so we're in compliance?
Yes. Yeah, he can look. Mhm.
Excellent. Board members, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Urbaniak.
Sure. I move in case number CE 21012988 that based on the evidence presented, I find that property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances listed in the staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the action taken by a violator and the violator's history, that I grant 3 days to come into compliance. If the compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $150 a day be assessed.
A motion by Mr. Urbaniak, second by
Clayton.
Ms. Clayton. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 3 days, $150 per day.
And that was the final case for this Hamilton Bay.
Just a quick note, now that we've made all those, just to your team, to the folks at Hamilton Bay Property Holdings LLC, heartfelt thank you to going through this process and taking care of all these things. It's really nice to have some folks come here and have things already taken care of. And I know there were quite a few violations, but being proactive in that, just want to say thank you from the board for that.
Thank you. You guys have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Next case, please.
Turn back to page 4, number 7, case number CE 20018497. The owner is Fellner Properties LLC, 1202 Bloomingdale Avenue. We have service and no one is present, and that also concludes any other citizens who have come. So it's the rest of the cases, there is no one present.
This is part of the no one present agenda.
I'm being told somebody else is here. Did I miss one?
Seeing that no one is present in the audience for the remaining cases on the agenda, the board will now review the case materials previously provided by county staff. And if the board finds that property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances as listed in staff's presentation, the board's ruling in each case will be based on the evidence presented, the gravity of violation, and the actions taken by the violator, and the violator's history in determining the amount of the fine that will be assessed. Do you need to recall the case, Ms. Meyer, or can we just move forward?
Yes, my apologies. We do have one other person who is here that I did not have marked on.
Okay. Then ignore what I just said.
Turn to page 5, number 9, case number CE 21001125. The owner is Pacifica Bayou LLC. Location is 10404 Zachary Circle, apartment 229. We have service, and someone is here for this case. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And state your name and address.
Natasha Lopez, 10305 Zachary Circle, Riverview, Florida, 33578.
And you are?
Property manager.
Okay, thank you. Do you recognize that,
Yes.
whatever that is? Thank you.
Officer, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Officer Parker, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This case was initiated on January 27th, 2021. It was last inspected on the 18th of October. The remaining violations were interior floors and walls, defective plumbing fixtures, as in the toilet is running, the tub is backing up. The actual bathroom sink cabinet, it's deteriorated. It's from the inside, you can see organic growth and a depression forming from the water leaking. And the doors on the bathroom cabinet will not stay closed as well. Two of the violations were fixed. The refrigerator was replaced and the gnat infestation was abated. But you still have the interior floors and walls, plumbing leaks and or defects. And there's also a depression in the floor below the actual vinyl that's on the floor as well.
Okay, so items 1, 2, 3, and 5 remain.
Are not in compliance, yes.
Okay, excellent. Okay, Ms. Natasha, what would you like to tell us?
Most of these items were taken care of in April, and between April and apparently October 18th, there was barely any communication between the resident and code enforcement because the resident they didn't have working phones. Their emails were not returning our calls or emails. And when I tried contacting Kevin, which I did twice, he told me that he couldn't get a hold of them until now, finding out that he went on the 18th, which I was not aware of. So I will have to get in contact with the residents.
Okay, so how much time do you think you need to resolve the items on this list?
30 days?
30 days? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, she was in contact with them because they got a notice that their lease wasn't being renewed. So I don't know why they wouldn't know what was going on in the apartment.
Because everything that we had in the original violation was taken care of in April, which I had sent you an email with pictures and everything of. And at that time, you told me you were not getting in contact with them, that they were not responding to you.
Okay, so at this point, we have yet to verify that we can make contact with the tenant to let you in to take care of the items, but you believe that you can resolve items 1, 3, and 5 on this list within 30 days?
Yes.
Okay. Any concerns, officer, from that, from a timeline?
There's always a concern because this apartment complex is a habitual violator. So it's always a problem in having to reinspect, saying that things are fixed and they're not. So I don't know if they can really accomplish it in 30 days. From my history with them, they won't be able to do it. Or it'll be done in a manner where it'll be incomplete or it'll be patchwork and I'll have to come back again or they'll start another case.
Understand. Well, at this point, we have to give them an opportunity because they haven't made contact with the tenant to be able to complete the repairs. 30 days to me sounds fairly reasonable based on the amount of work that needs to be done. And so that burden is back on them. I would assume that the board, based on that testimony, would probably do a higher fine of some kind just to make sure that it's done and complete, but I'm not in charge of that process. So I'll open it for questions if anybody has any questions or would like to make a motion in regards to the testimony heard.
Just.
I have a question. The property manager, you're saying the tenant is not cooperating with you?
They would not return our calls or anything. I believe the last that I spoke with one of the residents was regarding rental assistance, and that is all she asked about. After she let us know that she was going to be signing off of the lease because she received Section 8 and she was leaving, I guess, her partner there, but no mention of any other issues within the apartment were said.
Okay, so your answer is no, they're not cooperating. And the officer, you say that you've been in contact with the tenants?
Yes, sir. I did an inspection on the 18th. And the tenant stated that they're ignoring them and not fixing anything.
Okay, well, okay, thank you.
Would anybody like to entertain a moment?
Just wanted to clarify, make sure that I heard that items 2 and 4 have been taken care of on this list.
My understanding is the only item that's been removed from the scope at this point is the infestation of interior space, if that's complied. So the outstanding items are plumbing fixture defective, plumbing leaks, sink base cabinets, and interior floors and walls. 1, 2, 3, and 5.
That's the second item and the first item? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Which of the items are complied?
Number 4 is the only one that's complied.
4 is the only one that's complied.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm prepared to make a motion, I guess.
Okay, Mr. Razio, go ahead.
I move in case number CE 21001125 that based on the evidence presented, I find that the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances, specifically item R11.6.1B, item R11.6.1C, item R11.8.1A, and item R11.8.5. As listed in the staff's presentation. Further, based on the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator and the violator's history, I grant that 30 days to come into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $150 per day be assessed.
I have a motion for Mr. Razio for 30 days, $150 a day. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, but I'd like to make a comment.
Please, for discussion. Go ahead, Mr. Bowling.
All right. I think the monetary fine should be a little higher. This thing has dragged on since February. So, I mean, to get things rolling along and get people to talk to each other. I think the fine should be higher, maybe $400 a day.
Okay, I can amend my motion to 30 days and $400 a day.
Okay, Mr. Razio has amended her motion to 30 days, $400 a day.
I have no problem with that.
Second by Mr. Boland. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Ma'am, you have your 30 days. Failure to meet that deadline will result in a penalty of $400 per day, and you'll have to call and have them come out and get inspected.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Names on your papers?
Sure. Next case, please.
Okay, now we have no more citizens in the audience at this point.
I'll reinstate my statement from the chair. Seeing that no one is present in the audience for the remaining cases on the agenda, the board will now review the case materials previously provided by county staff. And if the board finds that the property is in violation of Hillsborough County codes or ordinances listed in staff's presentation, the board's ruling in each case will be based on the evidence presented, the gravity of the violation, the actions taken by the violator, and the violator's history, and determine the amount of fine that will be assessed. First case, please.
Page 4, number 7, CE 20018497. The owner is Fellner Properties LLC, location 1202 Bloomingdale Avenue. We have service and no one is present.
Go ahead, officer.
Donald K. Bowling, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This case began on 12/21/2020. There have been 7 subsequent visits and inspections. The violations found are accumulations, overgrowth, vagrants, nuisance conditions with unsecured buildings, windows and exterior doors, pool barriers. By the way, each time we made a visit at the pool, including the rapid response team, we have secured the pool barrier, but they get unsecured very quickly. Pool sanitation, there has been no contact with the owners on our part. There is a trespass authorization form on it, on the property with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. And there are definite health and safety issues to the community.
Okay, and officer, just for confirmation, you've had no contact with the owner whatsoever. We've had rapid response out there and nothing's happening. Correct?
That's correct.
Thank you, sir. Absolutely. Would somebody like to make a motion? Ms. Clayton, please.
I'm sorry, I'm not getting her on the microphone.
Sorry.
We'll turn it on. Okay, we're ready.
Okay. I grant 3 days to come into compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $700 a day be assessed.
Ms. Clayton has a motion of 3 days, $700 per day. Do we have a second?
Second.
Urbaniak seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 3 days, $700 per day. Next case, please.
Turn to page 11. I'm sorry, page 6, number 10, CE 2100-5984. The violator is Ground Floor Finance Incorporated, location 401 Morningside Drive. We have service and no one is present.
What case number?
Go ahead, officer.
Code Officer Larry Hoffman, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. This property is in foreclosure and is vacant. It's been abated twice before by the county for overgrowth and accumulation. First time was November 10th of 2020 and as recently as August 20th, 2021. Property cited for failure to register foreclosed property and failure to maintain foreclosed property. I visited the property yesterday. The overgrowth and minor accumulations remain, and ProChamps indicates that the property is still not registered. And I have been in contact with Ground Floor Finances.
I'm sorry, you have been in contact?
I have made contact, yes. They assured me in August that they would get a property maintenance company to take care of it and also register. And they haven't done anything, and I've left 2 messages for him afterwards.
Excellent, thank you. Anybody like to entertain a motion? Mr. Bolin?
I agree. It's 10 days to come to compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $200 per day be assessed.
We have a motion by Mr. Bolin for 10 days, $200 per day. Do we have a second?
Second, Razio.
Mr. Razio, second by Mr. Razio. Discussion. Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 10 days, $200 per day. Next case, please.
Page 8, number 14, CE 21010828, complied October 18, 2021. Number 15, case number CE 20017544. The owner is Matthew Victor Street, location 12122 Glen Hill Drive. We have service and no one is present.
Go ahead, officer.
Hello, Jason Salve, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. Code Enforcement first visits property on 12/1/2020. Observed a bunch of dead tree debris as well as overgrowth coming out into almost the roadway. 15-day notice of violation was issued. At that point, on 12/23, it had 30-day extension per policy. And then on 2/9, it was referred for code board hearing. The problem is the owner's listed address is there at that property. It's not a virgin land. There is a house on it. You can't see the house from all the overgrowth. So at this point, no contact has been made with the owner. That's why it was posted for the hearing, and that's where we are. Just overgrowth.
Okay. Board, any questions or someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Urbaniak?
I move in case CE 20017544. I grant 30 days to come in compliance, and compliance not achieved by that date, a fine of $500 a day be assessed.
Motion for Mr. Urbaniak for 30 days, $500 per day. Do I have a second?
Second, Clayton.
Second by Ms. Clayton. Discussion. Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 30 days, $500 per day. Next case, please.
Page 9, number 18, CE 2100-2551. The owner is 2017-2 IH Borrower LP, location 7802 Bristol Park Drive. We have service and no one is present.
Go ahead, Officer Carter.
Good afternoon, Officer Carter, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. Property in question is located 7802 Bristol Park Drive, Apollo Beach, Florida 3352. Property is zoned PD and tenant occupied. Property was first inspected on February 26th, 2021 and cited for interior services, electrical wiring, and kitchen sink-based cabinets. The sink-based cabinets and electrical wiring were complied on April 8th, 2021. As of my last inspection conducted October 6, 2021, the interior surface finishing of one of the bathroom tubs was still incomplete.
Anybody like to make a motion
I'll make a motion.
or question?
Is that? I move in case number CE 21002551. I grant 10 days to come into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved by that date, a fine of $300 per day be assessed.
Mr. Razio, whose motion is 10 days,
10 days.
$300 per day? 10 days, $300 per day. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bolin seconds the motion. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. 10 days, $300 per day. Next case, please.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Page 10 of number 19, CE 2100-7829. The owner is Laura One Corporation, 3925 West Norfolk Street. We have service and no one is present.
Go ahead, officer.
Good afternoon, John Kerry on Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. May it please the board. The property in question is located at 3925 West Norfolk Street, Tampa, Florida 33614. Property is owned by Lara One Corp. Property is currently unoccupied. Property is not in foreclosure. Initial inspection was performed June 3rd, 2021, which revealed 4 violations, of which 2 have since achieved compliance. A pre-hearing inspection was performed October 21, 2021. Photographs were taken at that time for this hearing. The following violations remain in non-compliance: fences, windows, and exterior doors. Thank you.
Officer, accumulations has been resolved.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for the question. Yes, that item was complied on the 21st of this month.
Thank you. All right, so we have 2 outstanding violations. Anybody like to make a motion? Mr. Boland?
I grant 21 days to come in compliance. Compliance not achieved by that date, a fine of $250 per day be assessed.
A motion for Mr. Boland for 21 days, $250 per day. Do I have a second?
Second, Urbaniak.
Second by Mr. Urbaniak. Purpose of discussion?
Second, Orazio.
Seeing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 21 days, $250 per day be assessed. Next case, please.
Number 20, CE 2100-8802. This case complied October 19, 2021. Page 11, number 21, case number CE 2100-4971. The owner is Christine L. Haupt, 9901 Alafia River Lane. We have service and no one is present.
Go ahead, officer.
Jason Zalva, Hillsborough County Code Enforcement. I arrived at 9901 Alafia River Lane on 4/13/2020 and for report of construction material on the property as well as a trailer. We've been there for several years and an old jet ski. I left a notice of visit because I had no answer at the door. A little while later on 4/14, I received received a call from the owner, Christine Hopp. I explained the complaint and she stated that it was construction material on the ground. She would have it removed. I gave her a 4-day extension on 4/20. The construction material outside open storage items were still there. I requested a 15-day notice of violation. This property would later be referred for a hearing. And that's why we're here today. Nothing has changed.
Thank you. Board, anyone would like to entertain a motion? Ms. Boyd?
I grant 30 days to come into compliance. If compliance is not achieved by that day, a fine of $250 per day be assessed.
A motion for Ms. Boyd for 30 days, $250 per day. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Boland. Discussion. Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 30 days, $250 per day. Next case, please.
Page 13, number 25, CE 2100-7659. This case complied October 20, 2021. Number 26, case number CE 2100-8118. This case complied October 20, 2021. Number 27, CE 2100-8208. This case complied October 22nd, 2021. And that concludes the agenda.
What about 27? Page 13.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, everyone. Any new business, old business? Not seeing any. This meeting is adjourned.